We're helping businesses across Asia Pacific to drive innovative transformation. HSBC believes smarter banking paves the way to a smarter business.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I've been waiting for this day for well over a year. So basically, the Global Fast Track Program, and specifically today, the Global Fast Track Global Final Pitching Competition 2022, is the moment that we are going to crown the success among successes. Now, essentially, when we put this program together, in fact, almost 3 years ago, it was intended to be a business matching program that connects the fintech companies more easily and quicker to the FIs, the corporate potential buyers, to the investors, and to potential channel partners. But now, fast forward for 3 years, and then we are really seeing the momentum gaining, in which people see this as a way of endorsing the capabilities to the broader ecosystem. And again, we would like to cater to the needs to many of the fintech firms across basically this year, we got 9 verticals to be exact. Of course, I won't go into details, but you got invest tech, we got the insure tech, reg tech, digital assets, payments, and so on. But one thing that is new, and that also captured a lot of attention, is the new track that we collaborated with the HMA. In fact, the HMA launched this CBDC track with us, using this Global Fast Track Program as a platform. An enormous amount of response that we are able to gather. So again, I would like to congratulate the winners of that program, in which the winners have been announced. Now, so today, I think we have this excitement of, again, having the distinguished speakers to take out the time to share with us the wisdom to help us to crown the winner among the winners. And with that, I just want you to thank all of your support. And also, I want to congratulate all the finalists who make it this far. It's not easy, because again, we literally just scout for successful fintech companies around the world. I think the figure that was given to by my colleague to me, we basically got participants from 65 different economies that made up a total pool of over 400 contestants. Coming down to today, we got the final 10. So this is really not easy, and this is really a big endorsement to your ability to be the cream of the crop. So without further ado, I guess I will hand it back to the MC. I just want to congratulate all of you and thank you for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kang. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kang. All right, welcome everyone, and welcome to our 10 finalists as well as our judging panel. Before we start, we'd like to quickly run through the format of the pitch competition. The format will be 4 minutes pitches from our fintechs, followed by 2 minutes Q&A from our judges. You will hear a sound when the 4 minutes is up, and also a sound when the 2 minutes are up for the Q&A session. And at that time, we have to move on just because we are quite tight on time today. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce our esteemed judging panel today. Today we are joined by Mr. Ron Savino from AFG, and we also have Mr. Raymond Young, Vice Chairman of AMTD. We have Mr. Simon L. Young, CEO of Blockchain Finance from Arta Tech Fin, and also Patrick Kwok, Vice President at Cell Rising Capital, and also Jerome Wong, Chief Information Officer at Jerome Wong, co-founder and CBO at Everest Ventures Group. And also, we have Ms. Tina Huang from Greater Bay Area of Homeland Investment, Mr. John Shu from HSBC, Mangos Toy from Particle X, Dominic Maffei from SC Ventures, and Mark Munoz, Vector Fintech, and also Jonathan Wu from Wings Capital Ventures. So thank you very much to our judges for making the time to come. We really appreciate it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first pitching company, and it's Haywood from Binary.
Hi, Okay. So Binary, hi everyone, this is Hayward, co-founder and CEO of Binary. So we are an tech-enabled bookkeeping provider for growing businesses in Asia Pacific and also a SME data provider for trade finance and financial institutions. So we're particularly targeting the bookkeeping problem. Bookkeeping, we see from a lot of accounting firms, is very commoditized and it's a very low margin business. But also, you also have a lot of business owners who does not have the time to use accounting softwares, even the cloud accounting softwares like Xero, QuickBooks. That's why services exist in the first place, but the services are not innovating fast enough. Based on these two trends, we wanted to come up with something. So a lot of our customers are actually offline businesses wanting to go online, and we built a data processing engine to actually process a lot of receipts, expenses, things that cannot be connected with an API. And we connect with a lot of core accounting softwares around the world for the business owner to have an easier view, as well as provide them a fractional accountant from Binary. So how we make money is we offer monthly subscription services to these fast-growing businesses. Typically, here's a snapshot of how many different applications, regardless of what business nature you're in, that you have to manage and set up, and it's very time-consuming. So we sit as a surface layer with a service wrap of a fractional accountant and offer as a monthly subscription connecting to the core accounting softwares. We started off doing a lot of processing, gathering the volume of client base, and eventually we have accounting firms coming up to us to actually utilize us to improve their margins and repurpose their current headcount. And then we recently have FIs coming up to us with the whole how can we leverage on SME data in a more real-time basis as opposed to assessing credit based on audit reports. It's a big market base in terms of who actually needs accounting to who actually needs bookkeeping globally. And we don't focus on audit reports or things which are more localized, but we do focus on bookkeeping, which is a general trend. So alternative data is also another stream that we're looking at. But essentially, we provide users a more simple view, drag and drop experience, really targeted at a specific buyer and user persona. And accounting firms also use our SaaS as well. Credit scoring is definitely something we're doing at the moment, partnering with trade finance and financial institutions to better leverage on SME data on a more real-time basis. And the data that they look at from a lender's perspective would be different than what a business owner would look at. So in a way, we're feeding two different ecosystems here. So currently, we're doing roughly around 450K ARR. Our net revenue retention is at 100% because of the nature of the business. And we currently have a team of around 23 colleagues around the world being default global. So here's some trends. We lost some customers a few months ago because we took on too big of a customer base, but now we're standardized to make it more scalable as a business. General margins in our business, and currently we are expanding in Southeast Asia as well as Singapore. But Malaysia, we actually have our own accounting software to service customers there. Different acquisition channels through accounting firms, software companies, and also through our internal sales. And here's our LTV and customer acquisition cost to find the right channel partners for a scalable business. We're on track for a 1 mil ARR growth at the moment. And we currently service roughly 400 customers through these different acquisition channels I mentioned earlier. So we're biggest partners of Xero, and we have raised our seed round back in March, aiming for a Series A early next year. Cheers.
All right, Haywood, please stay for the Q&A.
Forgot the Q&A.
Judges, over to you guys. Does anyone have any questions for Haywood? I think Mr. Raymond Young from AMTD.
Yeah, Haywood, can you tell us a bit more about how you differentiate your product versus the mass market SaaS services and bookkeeping? In other words, what are you proud of being unique in the marketplace?
Sure. We're proud of being in the middle of the core accounting softwares, and people use core cloud accounting softwares because it can connect a lot of different applications. So it's about their ecosystem being the value. Versus accounting services who does not want to venture into bookkeeping And based on these two trends where business owners does not have the time to manage their own accounting software, they reach out to find bookkeeping services. But bookkeeping services do not have time or the justification to service these customers. That's why we're kind of stuck in the middle, connecting these core accounting softwares with these accounting firms, essentially.
Awesome. Judges, Jonathan Wu has a question for you from Wings Capital Ventures.
Thank you, Haywood. Do you come up with your own credit score system, or are you integrating your data into the existing credit score system?
So we built our own credit score system based on white papers from HKMA and also various other sources. So for each customer, we collect around 240 different attributes based on the more real-time financial statements that we help deliver, as well as other databases scraped from the web.
And Dominic from SC Ventures.
Hey, good job first. So it looks like you've got some decent traction around the accounting software. What about the actual credit score? Like what
Correct.
Yeah.
That is something that we launched 2 months ago. So in terms of its pipeline in our CRM at the moment, but for whether we're working with a trade finance company that's in garments or an FI, they usually have a specific customer base that we target first.
Thank you, judging panel, and thank you, Haywood.
Thank you.
That's time for us, and we must move on. All right, next up we actually have Matt, who's dialing in from Steel Eye. Hi, Matt, you're on the screen now, so whenever you're ready, please get started.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Hi, thank you for having me here today. My name is Matt Smith. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Steel Eye, coming to you live from our headquarters here in Covent Garden, London. So to introduce ourselves, Steel Eye is a regulatory and compliance product offering that we sell into the financial markets. About 5 years ago, my co-founders and I had a dream that if we could bring data together in a particular way, we could solve complex regulatory problems for financial market firms around the world, and then actually enable them to leverage data for things well beyond regulation. So Steel Eye, we were founded in 2017. To date, since that time, we've raised $43 million in funding, most recently completing a Series B fundraise for $21 million. We have 150 institutional clients throughout the world, and we sell to both the buy and the sell side. So we're supporting clients in the buy side, so asset managers and hedge funds. We support brokers, retail and interdealer brokers. We support commodity companies, wealth managers, private equity firms. So really any regulated firm in the world that has a need to service regulators. We're operating now out of 4 offices around the world. We just recently opened up in the US, which is an area where we're investing quite heavily into. And to date, we have well over 100 employees throughout the globe. So what is it that we do? So around the world, financial regulation has been an increasing burden for financial markets firms. They have to bring together data in order to conform to regulation, and they're subjected to heavy fines should they be unable to do so. Most recently this year, we've seen almost $200 million worth of fines handed out to financial institutions in the US for failing to conform to record keeping and surveillance obligations for WhatsApp alone, let alone all the other obligations around trading activity. So what is it that Steel Eye does? Well, we aggregate data. We bring together unstructured data, so this would be your communications, email, voice calls, Bloomberg chats, Zoom, Slack, Symphony. We bring together your orders and trades from your order and trade execution platforms. And we bring together reference data, information on companies you do business with. We bring together information on your employees. We bring together market data, so level 1, level 2 pricing data. We bring together news, instrument reference data. And by having that all in one location, we're able to do various things with it. We effectively provide 3 products to our clients in one. Communications surveillance, so being able to monitor and analyze communications for unwanted behaviors or illegal activity. Trade surveillance, so we're looking at transactional activity in your trading environment. So we're looking at best execution, TCA, transactional cost analysis, We're looking at market abuse detection. So an example of why this is relevant, to detect insider dealing, you would require various different sets of information. So what was traded, orders and trades, what was going on in the market price, market volume, what's being said, internal and external to your organization through the communication channels, and then ultimately what's going on in the world. You need the news. So what does the future hold? Well, for us, the future holds the ability to leverage this data that you brought together into a standard taxonomy canonical model of data for things well beyond regulation, feeding into risk and management systems. Thank you.
All right. Good timing, Matt. Judges, over to you. I think Ron's going to start with the first question. So it's Ron from AFG Partners.
Hey, Matt. Good to see you again. Hey, Matt. Hey, good to see you again. Also, thanks for waking up so early to do this for a So thank you very much. I just have a question in the sense of how do you fit in with companies, look like you're extending your data infrastructure or your data lakes or the ability to manage the data for clients. So how do you set aside existing data infrastructure, data lakes, the data strategies of existing financial institutions?
Well, we're a data aggregator, so what we do is bring data together, and we've done that into a standard taxonomy, a canonical model that was built off international financial regulation, which is predominant in all geographies. We have clients all around the world. And then by aggregating all that data into a central location, yes, we provide regulatory workflow, but ultimately we've actually built one of the most powerful data lakes that they can imagine that can be leveraged for various other things with open REST APIs. And that's really the long-term vision for us, is to be able to enable compliance organizations to bring data together for compliance purposes, but bring additional value to their companies. I sell a RegTech product to the market. I sold a RegTech business to my investors. But the reality is we're a data company, and we want to be able to enable our clients to leverage that data for broader things.
Yes, we've got Raymond from AMTD. Would you like to go first?
Okay, quick one. Compliance is a very complex subject, Matt. And what sort of due diligence have you successfully encountered by financial institutions or regulators to vet your product so that they are able to accept them?
Well, I mean, like today, as I said, we have 150 institutional clients around the world. That includes tier 1 banks. It includes tier 1 asset managers. We do work very closely with the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK, ESMA in Europe. We're in discussions with IROC, since we have many clients now in Canada and the US regulators. We're starting to get a lot more active in the Asia Pacific region, so we're starting to put our plans together for building out our business out there now that we've got a growing number of clients in Asia.
And I think we just have one last very quick question from Jerome from Everest Ventures Group.
Yeah, just want to get a bit of picture of what's the revenue of your company generating, and what is is it more on a subscription model? How do you charge your clients?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a private company, so the revenue is private, so I can't talk too much about that. What I can say is of our 150 institutional clients, we have a 98% retention rate. We last year had a 90% year-on-year growth. We're expecting somewhere between 70 and 80% this year. From a business perspective, it's our biggest problem now is being able to scale to support the growing number of clients, which is why we're actually actively hiring. So I think we're about 115 people now around the world. We're hiring another 60 roles as we speak.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for dialing in so early in the morning as well. All right, next up we have Uzair. Let's welcome Uzair from Better Data up to the stage.
"87% of the world's population can be identified online with 3 features only. That is almost 7 billion people. This is why companies who are collecting a lot of customer data have to protect it. One of the best techniques is to use encryption, yet our team was able to ethically hack the encryption algorithm of the Ethereum blockchain, considered to be one of the best out there. In parallel, we have 2/3 of the world who have passed international privacy laws and have issued more than $3 billion in fines in just the last 4 years. This is why 97% of data with enterprises sits locked away with zero utility, and the remaining takes forever to share. Together, they contribute to an annual loss of $3 trillion globally. This is how Better Data was born, to unlock and activate data. We have created a platform that combines 3 key technologies. With AI, we are able to generate unlimited synthetic data from limited real data without any compromise in its utility. With confidential computing, companies can collaborate on their data sets, but they cannot have the visibility of how the actual data set looks like. We unlock that visibility while giving you an end-to-end fully encrypted data pipeline. With blockchain technology, we are able to create a synthetic data marketplace for enabling data owners to license their data sets and data consumers to purchase synthetic copies of it while paying the data owner in the process. Our business model is based on licensing and support, and we can deploy our product on any servers in Hong Kong. And for pricing, we look at the volume of the data being processed per month. Let's talk about competition. So globally, we are looking at 2 key trends: confidential computing, which allows you to operate on encrypted data, but it does not give you the visibility because everything is encrypted. Synthetic data gives you that visibility, but does not give you a secure channel to upload, process, and download your data sets. At Better Data, we are giving you the best of both worlds. And we are doing this in a market that is rapidly growing with a CAGR of almost 50%. We are focused at synthetic data for now, and eventually we're going to disrupt the trillion-dollar data economy, bound to happen by 2025. Our focus is to work with data science and engineering teams in financial services as well as technology companies. And to date, we have 5 pilots with 4 figures in revenue. And we have close partnerships with regulators in Asia as well as leading universities, management consultancies, and data aggregators in Asia and beyond. And to date, we have been featured globally by the likes of TechCrunch, Yahoo Finance, as well as Tech in Asia. So the value here is real data takes forever to move across. Other techniques, if you use them, give you data quality that is low. We make this process instant without any compromise on the data quality while making people more handsome. Privacy laws do not apply now because synthetic data does not belong to real individuals. We have a team of over 9 team members with 50 years of experience in AI, blockchain, privacy, and ethical hacking. And we have been globally recognized by some of the best firms out there. And one key use case is we bridge the gap between sharing data in production environments to non-production environments. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusair. All right, judging panel, over to you. Tina would like to start with the first question.
Use case that you were going to do at the very end.
So on a global level, when we look at majority of the data breaches, they happen because production data finds its places in areas where it should not be. A data breach happens, companies get fined millions of dollars, and then they have to pay millions more just to fix it. This is why access to production data is typically restricted or takes a few years to move things around. What we do is we bridge that gap by generating synthetic data in production environment and provisioning that access to non-production environments if they are in Hong Kong or any other part of the world, while saving you costs in regulatory fines, if any.
Judges, any further questions? Yes, we've got Raymond from AMTD.
Hi. What is your go-to-market strategy?
So for us, we're mainly looking at data science teams. So we have direct sales working one-to-one with our customers. And in parallel, we are working with infrastructure players, like we have Hong Kong Science and Technology Park in Hong Kong. In Singapore, we are working with IMDA. So they have a government commercial cloud platform for all the public agencies. And then we have the likes of Databricks, IBM, HP Enterprise. And the idea is how we can integrate our product with theirs to unlock the global consumer base eventually. So.
Awesome. And Jerome from EVG has a question for you.
Yeah, so due to the fact that you are dealing with synthetic data assets, right? So basically, a few questions I have in mind. One is, are you tokenizing these synthetic data asset points? Second is, due to, well, it's privacy related, so I guess it's quite sensitive. Then how do you, at the same time, build this marketplace which is open? I'm assuming it might not be permissionless, right? But at the same time, to protect some of the privacy of certain companies, not to be open to the public.
Yes, so just to mention that in terms of tokenization, what we do is we tokenize the access rights to the data set. Our platform is able to generate synthetic copies, and then the data owner gets to decide who has access to it and what type of computations they can run on it. And in terms of the marketplace itself, so the idea here is to connect data owners with data consumers, and then whoever has the data, our platform is able to bridge that gap. So mainly focused on B2B sector rather than B2C here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Uzair. Thanks for your presentation. All right, so next up, we'd like to welcome to the stage Terrence from Nano Insure.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Terrence. Let me start with who we are. Claire and I work together more than 16 years. Together, we implement distributions and policy admin system for the leading insurance before we co-founded Nano Insure. Let's talk about some numbers. We did quite well since our inception. For example, last year, our top line, bottom line, and next year's software subscription backlog hit 7 figures. What problem we are solving? A, we accelerate product development and distributions. B, we digitalize the sales to policy issue cycle. We have 3 products offered in SaaS model, and our software being recognized by the industry as well. So how do we do that? We provide an insurance-specific no-code and low-code platform that we from calculate the profitability of products, to configure these products, to set up new digital channel, to develop front-end digital sales applications all the way to policy administration systems. And these functions are distributed as microservices to increase business agility. So how we differentiate with Coherent, Zactec, Admin, whoever you name it, we won our competitors by our in-depth capability. For example, when our customers look into more deep dive, they find our tech stack are more compelling, and our people are more experienced in terms of real-life implementations experience. Our customers are 100% referenceable. They are using Nano BYO for pricing and product engine, development platform, using Nano POS for digital sales front end, using Nano Live for certain functions of live admin to streamline the operations. It covers the entire sales to policy issue cycle. Tractions. We are a Hong Kong-based company, and our software being used in 9 markets, serving more than 35,000 of insurance advisors. That generating more than $1 billion value of new business per year. One of the uniqueness of software is online and offline mode. That means insurance advisor can perform sales anytime, anywhere on these devices. Benefit we bring to our customer. That is a recent example. We're assisting one of the Hong Kong life insurance company. We improved the sales effectiveness by 4 times. And the result was pretty good. Nearly 100% of the customer felt satisfied with the buying behavior. And this buying behavior is lead to more greener to environment by saving more than 2,000 trees per year. More importantly, using our software can bring the product to market 5 weeks to 6 weeks faster compared to the industry average, and the low cost ownership would lower than 70%. Legacy system is always a headache. So instead of legacy system modernizations, we introduce a stringless approach, which is we introduce new services such as news, such as newbie underwriting, claims, and those microservices will work together When the user get used to user experience, we retire the respecting function in the core. That will provide the customer a faster, the digital ready for this new journey. We are addressing total 25 billions of US dollars market globally per annum. Last but not least, I'm sure not the insurer will bring more happy faces to the industry, not only in Hong Kong, but globally. Thank you so much for your time, and let's shine Hong Kong. We are a Hong Kong company, and we're based in Hong Kong and Shenzhen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terrence, for the presentation. Judges, over to you. Ron's got the first question from AFG Partners.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the presentation. A couple of questions. One was, what type of insurance are you focused on? Are you doing general insurance? Are you doing life? Are you doing investment linked? And the other part of it is, I mean, it sounds as if what you're saying is you're looking to eventually maybe replace legacy technologies. So is your strategy about starting with new products, getting in the door, proving your worth on a new product launch, and ultimately then maybe replacing a legacy policy admin system, for example?
Thank you, Rob. The first question is, we are very focused on life insurance right now, but some of the customers are using our software for general insurance in Taiwan now. Yes, what we do is now we're providing front-end and middle office software, which is a cash cow of not insurer, but the biggest chunk is life administration system because COBOL and any legacy system will be a problem sooner or later. So we are seeing policy administration system organizations, it's almost failed. So we are doing one by taking hollow out some of the functions and making digital ready first. Yes. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. And I've got Simon from Art to TechFin for a question for you.
Hi, Terrence. I note that one of your slides, and then you have one point as the differentiation point is the online and offline SDK.
Yes.
And then can you elaborate more on this point?
Sure, absolutely. So imagine if a insurance advisor in Cambodia, there's no internet access at all, but they still want to do sales. So they're using they're using iPad, which is have no internet access. They're still performing sales, doing quotations, and doing applications. When there's a internet access, like they go back to the office, they can turn it on, and they can sync all the data back to the legacy system, and this policy will be underwritten. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you. Judges, any further questions for Terrence? All right, I think Jonathan from Waste Capital Ventures, one last question.
Thank you, Terrence. You started in 2019, and
Yes.
then your product suite seems to be very comprehensive.
Yes.
Can you give us a breakdown of your staff?
Yes, we're 40 now. 95% are engineering. There's only one sales, including me, it's a 1.5 sales.
Awesome. Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. Next up, we've got Divisend. We've got Julian, who will be dialing in today, who is their CTO. And we also have Ray, who is also here in person. So we've got a hybrid model here. So without further ado, here's Divisend.
Welcome everyone. Hi, I'm Julian Allen, CTO and co-founder of the German broadcast Fintech Divisend. We help investors maximize their dividend returns. So what is the main issue plenty of dividend investors are facing nowadays? Imagine you own dividend stocks from outside your home country, like Nestlé from Switzerland. You will have this problem of double taxation of your dividends. Maybe you will get taxed twice, firstly with withholding tax and then also with local income tax. And at the moment, refund opportunities are widely missed out due to fiscal complexities and technical challenges. Even though the EU and the OECD have been recommending a solution for about 20 years, nothing had until now. This is why with our platform, we unify the reclaim process from many different countries. Our software helps private and institutional investors to reclaim their taxes by automating the withholding tax refund process in a very fast and cost-efficient manner. Our product is very convenient and consists of just 4 steps. First, you connect your securities portfolio via our unique securities aggregation API. Second, you get a fast dashboard overview. Third, you do the claim setup. And fourth, you submit the application to the respective foreign tax authority. So why is it such an interesting business case? In general, the dividends market is a $12 business, which you can see on the top left. Additionally, you can see the total addressable market. We talk about $100 billion in paid withholding taxes on cross-border securities, and more importantly, $20 billion in taxes are still unreclaimed every year, which gives us, of course, enormous room to grow. And as Peter Thiel says, competition is for losers. There's no other SaaS company on the market right now targeting retail investors. Our business model is simple, straightforward, and has a high margin. Our revenues consist of transaction fees, namely 17.5% of the reclaim amount. In the middle, you can see a representative example for a German investor with a customer profit of 198 euros per year. Due to a withholding period up to 4 years back, there's room for a profit leverage of up to 792 euros per customer in the first year, see on the right side. With a unique business model as an API-first company and strong partnerships with cutting-edge brands like banks and stock exchanges, magazines and web portals and marketplaces, as you can see on this tableau, we have few or zero customer acquisition costs. We simply go where customers are. So why is Hong Kong such an interesting jurisdiction for us? First of all, Hong Kong is one of the largest and fastest growing cross-border wealth centers. And also in combination with the HKMA Fintech 2025 strategy and the World Connect initiative, we think that now is the perfect timing to ramp up our business in Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. After all, as an API-first company with strong partnerships, we are the perfect blitzscaler. And for high and fast leveraging in these most important financial hubs like Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Greater Bay Area. In particular, we are looking for first POC case with large banks that focus on wealth management, as well as tax advisory firms and banking IT providers. Furthermore, we are currently founding our own local subsidiary and will form a team in Hong Kong next year. We already have a diversified world-class team with more than 30 years combined startup experience up to unicorn status. All key positions are filled by outstanding entrepreneurs with a track record in leading companies like Allianz, Credit Suisse, Fontobel, and unicorns like Numbers. Finally, let's look at the iconic stock of Nestlé. If you had invested 10,000 francs in 1960, you would have only about 750,000 francs if you hadn't reinvested anything. But when reinvesting both the dividend and the reclaimed withholding tax, you would have about 3.5 million francs by now. That's the message, isn't it? Thank you.
Sorry. All right, thank you, Julian. All right, judges, do you have any questions for Julian and Ray? I think we're going to start with Mingles here from Particle X.
Thank you, Julian. What's your go-to-market strategy? Are you selling to try to collaborate with some big four like KPMG here, or directly deal with the investors?
Let me answer the questions. We've been working with banks, and we've been working with local family offices, and we also work with a lot of accounting firms and professional firms. And recently, we have actually tried to explore the China market. We have been working with some of the local large consultancy companies in order to get access to some of the financial services companies in China as well. So that's so far our market strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Judges, any further questions? All right, I think that's it.
Thank you.
Very clear. Thank you, Divisend. All right, up next we've got Andre from Aries. Let's invite Andre up to the stage.
Hello, this is Andre, co-founder and CEO of Aries. Because I only have 4 minutes, I'm going to jump into the product roadmap. Today, in the keynote speaking from Andy Yun, he's mentioned about the radical open-mindedness. Our company is rooted from the AML pain points of not addressing the non-acting characters. So our core patent technology is surrounded by the native natural language processing that we can apply beyond just RegTech and also into ESG. And we truly believe that right now that a lot of companies really appreciate they have reporting about their ESG scoring from some big technology giant player with the scoring of Coca-Cola or ExxonMobil, but they have no grounding on where this data transparency coming from, and especially for getting the scoring from Chinese related company, we need to get authenticated data from the China national blockchain, what we call the smart blockchain. And we have an exclusive partnership with Trillion, which is the upcoming carbon credit exchange platform provider, and we will be the exclusive tech provider in order to provide AML KYC and also some of the new green KYC prospect. And also, Eddie, you mentioned about more is more. So we will be the standard setting for the China, Hong Kong, and one Belt and Road country, not only just for the AML, adverse media, cross-border KYC, but also green passport. For example, if we want to look at what would be the accumulated green points or number of tree planted or the green donation. So these data could be gathered from the blockchain, which is from the Chinese national government. And what is native? This is a totally unaddressed market globally, which we have our patented technology, which will be exclusive. And think about this will be like a space rocket where we will have the unique patented technology on a chipset on the engine, where we handle the Chinese non-Latin characters to start with. Why? How do we do it? In Chinese character, in the AML world, there has been no better solution to handle non-Latin characters when it comes to matching Chinese character, which our patent is surrounding using similar pinyin, similar shape, and multiple shape, which we get patented, which we are first applying to RegTech, but now into the ESG Green KYC. And we got our exclusive partnership with the Namsha Nova Credit mutual recognition platform, which we can authenticate any Chinese national on their ID authentication. So this is our unique technology which we can incorporate onto our platform. For example, you see this OCR, we can scan the ID card of a Chinese national. We get our AML screening checks. We get adverse media data, not just the news, but also social media. And to go back, we also get endorsed by the Hong Kong Authority. We get into the Supervisory Sandbox. And we also get into the Roti GBA startup from the TBLC and Cyberport. And most importantly, we have our patent where which we will compete with the global arena with AML Analytics, LexisNexis, Refinity, and therefore we will be able to fly with this global tech starting from Hong Kong.
Thank you, Andre. All right, we'll ask you to please stay on the stage. So it's time for Q&A, and we've got Dominic from SC Ventures first with the first question.
Hi, Dominic.
Hi, hello? Okay, great. First, thanks for the presentation. I guess my question's around the ESG portion of your use case. Obviously, there's serious greenwashing risks that you need to consider. What frameworks and controls do you have in place?
Okay, so first of all, we believe the upcoming will be the anti-greenwashing screening and surveillance platforms. We believe the data has to be authenticated. So first thing, we need to look into the adverse media news, which are ESG related. So we're using our patented native-to-native technology to grab this data from the media, which, because we have been talking to some giant like ISO provider, for example, which I can't name who they are, they actually get customer from banks saying that they cannot trust those conventional brand. So they need more data to authenticate the transparency of the ESG data. So that's our Chinese native-to-native technology comes in. So which is unique, which nobody in the world has been addressing this. So that's why I mentioned we are not covering the whole spectrum of ESG technology, but simply on the fundamentally the kernel on handling the Chinese character or non-Latin character natively. So that will be the future for the financial institution or investor or fund manager to trust the ESG data, where these data are coming from, and the scoring, etc.
Awesome. And we've got Raymond from AMTD.
Hi, Raymond.
Hi, Terence. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Want to know your target market segments in Hong Kong and as well as in other parts of Asia and revenue traction.
Okay, right, we're a 2 years old company, so we haven't been as good as the other competitor where they can get some big numbers, but we gained one tier 2 banks. Actually, we got 3 that we renew our services for the second year, given we are a 2 years old company. So our spends right now we are talking heavy structure in Taiwan and Singapore because they getting more emphasis on native to native Chinese character. We believe that we will take time for the sales cycle in the next year, but the following year we will explode because we have really strong pipeline. And we starting to have financial institutions, even tier 1 banks, to knock on our door to ask for quotation. Just like I went to the BEA Data Forum with Dr. To Cham last month, right away BEA proved us this great interest in the Chinese character screening, which they're using some technology giant, which they're not happy with the Chinese result, which are very high cost to them. So I think this pain point will be the same across all institutions, tier 1 in Hong Kong, as well as other countries. So I believe the judges, we need to catch up. And we are a homegrown Hong Kong company. If this is the recognition that we can get from the judges, means it's a recognition from the industry, and it will be helping Hong Kong to be the hub of the financial institution, stability, and we will represent Hong Kong to enable the fintech ecosystem to be in line with the Hong Kong MA Fintech Strategy 2025. So I hope that it will give us a strong chance and consideration, given that we don't have a strong numbers in terms of fundamentals, but we are confident that we will be the company to go global starting from Hong Kong, nowhere else.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you very much for your presentation. All right, next up we have Andy from Basebit here with us.
Hi, my name is Andy Liu. It's a pleasure for me to be here today to share more about Basebit Technologies. Our company secured 350 million Hong Kong dollars Series B late last year. We are a privacy computing company with about 300 employees. We have offices in Silicon Valley, Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and others. We have a very strong leadership team. Eric Chen is a founder and chairman. His experiences include managing partner at SoftBank's 100 billion USD Vision Fund. Myself, I have 20 years of data and operational experience. I was previously with TPG running their portfolio companies. The last company I was with was a data company which we IPO'd for 10 billion in the US. We also have very seasoned strategic advisors. Lu Qi is the president and chief operating officer of Baidu, and Zhen Ming is a former chief strategy officer of Alibaba Group. So let's talk about the landscape. If there is one thing that I want you to remember from everything that you hear today, it is this: data is the new oil. Today, globally, we generate 2.5 quintillion bytes of data per day. The data explosion will continue. Why it will continue is because over 90% of that data was actually generated in the last 2 years alone. So the summary is that data will continue to be the single most important asset in the digital economy. So what's the problem? The problem is people cannot share the data. Companies have to choose. You either have data security or you have collaboration. You cannot do both. At Basebit, we have a solution. We figured out a way where companies can have very high data security and collaboration at the same time. How do we achieve this? We achieve this through what we call privacy computing technologies. Multi-party computation, homomorphic encryption, federated learning, secure sandbox computation, and TEE. These are technologies that are built into our platform. They allow us to share data insights without sharing the actual raw data. So let me walk you through a quick example. Today, the way things are done is by NDA. You do an NDA, you give someone your raw data, and you pray that that data does not leak out. This is no longer acceptable. The new way will be privacy computing technologies. How does this work? The data goes into a black box. The black box holds the data, but more importantly, all the computation is done inside the black box. And what comes out is only the data insights. So only data insights are shared, and none of your raw data is shared. Your raw data is kept secure. So the black box solution is very user-friendly. Here you can quickly see there's a project workspace, there's a data marketplace, there's an application marketplace. If I zoom in, you can quickly see a data snapshot of the data dashboard. Here you see the real example of a data project being run on our platform. So in summary, it's a black box end-to-end solution for all your data needs. Now, what's more important than data? Customers. We have over 60 client deployments. They range in healthcare, finance, marketing, science, and government. The first step is to secure clients. The second step is to connect these deployments. The third step is to generate cross-industry data insights, which is what we're doing today. So at BaseBit, we are connecting industries, and we are building the data freeway of the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. We're going to start off the Q&A with Tina from Greater Bay Area Homeland Investment.
So 2 questions. One is, so amongst MPC, Federal Learning, and TEE, which one do you think you have relative technical edge in? And then 2 is, what would you say is your overall competitive advantage over people like Huakong and Dongjian?
So for your first question, I really think it depends on the client. As you know, these technologies, federated learning, homomorphic encryption, TE, they can be used together or they can be used independently. We're a big believer in meeting client needs, so it really depends on the user case. So I think it's very user case dependent, as you know. So that's the first question. The second question, in terms of competitive advantage, we have a very strong technical team. We are a Hong Kong-based company. The team, we've been doing this since 2016, and if you look kind of in Asia and you kind of search for BaseBit, you'll see that a lot of our competitors, as well as a lot of the, every time you hear about privacy computing, BaseBit's name will come up. So we believe that's our technology is really our competitive advantage. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got Mark from Vector Fintech for a question.
Hey, thanks for the presentation. Could you talk a little bit about your revenues or unit economics, how you charge customers today?
Sure. So again, same with the previous candidate, we cannot share revenues, but I can share with you that we have essentially 4 models, right? So the first is obviously customized, depending on what you want to do, right? Customized deployments. The second is what we call off-the-shelf. The third is we have a SaaS model, and then the fourth is data monetization. So we're essentially at stage 2 of the kind of company development. SaaS models coming next, and then data monetization next after that.
Awesome. Ron, one very last quick question. Ron from AFG Partners.
I'll jump off stage and give you my mic.
Just a quick question about geographic focus and your ability to kind of cross regions, cross globally.
So we actually, the question was about geographic focus. We don't really think about it in terms of geographic focus. We tend to think about it as in terms of meeting customer needs. If the customer happens to be in Singapore, we'll be in Singapore. If the customer happens to be in Shanghai, we'll be there. What I do know is this is a very big problem. There are a lot of data assets everywhere, and it's being locked down. We're not realizing the value of it, and that's where our company comes in. We believe that we can help these companies really unlock the value of data, and that's what BaseBit is about. So it's really about building the digital freeway of the future. That's BaseBit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy and BaseBit. Next up, we've got Scott from DMist.
All right, thanks, Deb. Hello, judges. It's good to be back in Hong Kong, where DMIST was founded. I'm going to jump straight into it. Companies around the world have a serious problem managing the complexity of data providers that they have to use, from everything from onboarding customers to fighting financial crime, fighting fraud. There's over 2,000 companies out there that are selling data commercially today to banks, insurers, and fintechs. And companies today have to manage this complex ecosystem, and the cost and complexity of that is growing exponentially. DMIST was created to manage this complexity. We are a platform for finding the best, highest quality data, deploying that data under a single contract through a single integration, certifying that data, and then making it available anywhere in the enterprise. Data is critical to any competitive advantage. It's critical to keeping your current edge. And those 2,000 companies, the credit bureaus, the aggregators, the stock exchanges, and hundreds of niche small companies that provide data on people and businesses are out there, but they're hard to get access to. If you've ever worked in a big company, you know procuring something takes a long time. We did a survey of banks. It took them 9 to 12 months on average to onboard a single data provider, and they have hundreds in the backlog. We are addressing the frictions that these companies face in onboarding and using this high quality data. The discovery problem, the procurement problem, the IT problem of actually getting the data deployed into a production use case. And of course, the compliance issue of knowing that the data is lawfully processed and privacy compliant. We solve that by integrating and certifying the best available data providers in the world into our platform, and then creating a single contracting mechanism and a single integration to actually access all of that data. And so we take the time to deploy from months down to literally days or hours in some cases. The data is readily available. The market for this data is enormous. Let's put it into perspective. Last year, it was over $60 billion spent buying data. In 5 years, it'll be over $100 billion. That's a quarter of the size of the entire cloud computing industry. This is a massive industry, and banking and insurance will represent over $25 billion in spend in 5 years. But think about it this way. The friction's so high to access it, there's actually an irrational underconsumption of data. It should be much, much higher. But the friction is so high that it slows down the adoption of the data. And that's where we come in. We're serving blue chip companies in Asia, where we were started, Europe and the US. Tier 1 banks, insurers, and fintechs represent over 90% of our revenue. We're growing steadily. We have a very high average revenue per client of over $500,000 per customer, and we can expect this to continue to grow. What we're actually solving for these banks and insurers is everything from the acquisition problem of how do you acquire customers, how do you solve AML and KYC, identity and fraud, and more, and increasingly ESG. We're solving this problem for banks in the US, in Europe, in Asia, increasing revenues, reducing costs, and making it easier to access data in any shape or form. One great example is ANZ Bank in Australia, where we've actually been able to integrate the accounting software platforms to allow this bank to do instant credit decisions to SMEs in less than 10 minutes. This has led to tens of millions of dollars in unsecured lending in a digital format. Our competitive advantage comes down to our recommendation engines on data, our recipes and our ways to blend data together, and the technology that creates the pipes, sticky pipes and sticky revenue.
Thank you, Scott. Judges, would someone like to kick off the Q&A? Yes, we've got Raymond from AMTD.
Hello. Could you share more about your revenue top line as well as your burn rates?
So our top line this year will be over 20 million. We are going to be profitable next year. We're about 3 quarters away from EBITDA break-even.
Thanks, Scott. Any further questions from our judging panel? Very clear presentation. No further questions. All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So next up, we actually have Zif, who will be dialing in from Israel. So Zif from Pagelent.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Unfortunately, remotely today, but I'll be in Hong Kong very soon. I'm looking forward to that. So my name is Ziv Cohen. I'm the CEO of Pageland, which specializes in frictionless fraud prevention for fintechs. So we've been in this space for about 24 years, working with banks, payments, and all kinds of financial services, helping them avoid money loss as a result of fraud attacks. We all know that without proper security controls in place, no business can run. And when it comes to the ability to look at the fintech space or even look at the profile of fintechs compared to the incumbent banks and traditional payment system, there are tremendous differences that require completely different outlook and also completely different approach to protect them. The company works globally. We have offices in Israel and also in the US. We have customers all over the world. We cover the entire fintech payment space and spectrum. That means working with digital banks, virtual banks, challenger banks, e-wallets, crypto wallets, and any other company which operates within fintech. With regard to the team, so as I was saying, we come with a very strong experience in cybersecurity and fraud. The previous products that we developed in the past are used by millions of customers today all over the world. So basically, what Pageland delivers is a very, very simple value that addresses the exact requirements of fintechs when it comes to protecting their business against fraud. We first of all reshaped and simplified the way that fraud prevention is even consumed by such organizations. Here is the app. Most of them have mobile apps. Connect the app to the Pageland box and simply get it all out of the box as a fully managed service, which means full coverage for all the fraud use cases, whether that's new account fraud, account takeover, transaction fraud, and all other threats against those fintechs. Then it's a truly frictionless user experience. And this is a key point because we all know that the user's experience today is one of the most important factors for driving a very successful business. And this actually relates to reducing dramatically all the PIN codes, passwords, OTP SMSs, and the friction which is currently involved with the payment and the money transfer, only because there is no better way to validate that this is the customer. Very easy integration, which is again one of the key points that are a must for, especially for fintechs and organizations that need to be running in a very, very short time without any delays, and detection from day one, which brings tremendous value since there is no time to wait until the, let's say, the product is productive enough and starts predicting whether the next transaction protects or does not protect against fraud. During this time, there is lots of money loss, which we are able to solve. Pageland actually acts as a one-stop shop for all the fintechs, so they don't need to go and look for different solutions. We cover it end-to-end, from the onboarding, all the fraud coverage, all the way to additional services that may be required by them, such as 3D Secure, etc. So our system is flexible and can connect to any other third party in order to cover these areas. The technology of Pageland is actually the key. We have 6 intelligence sets that take all the elements into consideration, and those elements cover the ability to detect the device, the user's behavior, the transaction. It all happens in real time with real visibility to the customer so that they can actually get all the information and understand what's happening within their organization. This is translated to an accuracy
Thank
that
you,
goes
Sif.
way beyond the industry's benchmark.
We're going to have to stop you right there, but we will move to Q&A now with our judges. We've got Simon from Arta TechFin for the first question.
Thank you, Steve. And I have the 2 questions. And then the first one is about, you mentioned it's more like a one-stop shop. And then you have onboarding, KYC, AML. And then are you an aggregator or you self-build all those functions or the features? And my second question is, and then I know that you have an industry cover crypto. And then probably can you elaborate more how you prevent the crypto fraud by using your service? Thank you.
Yes, definitely. So to the first question, Pageland is the actual fraud prevention solution. That is our core service. But in addition to that, the system is built in such a way that it can integrate with third parties very, very quickly. So we actually cover the entire fraud, part for all the fintechs, and this includes continuous analysis of all the factors that are required to distinguishing very accurately between a fraudster and a legitimate customer to enable the frictionless payments and money transfer. But in cases where the customers also require the eKYC, then we already have out of the box the solution which is integrated into our system, and it can be delivered. Same with, for example, other solutions. So that is hopefully addressing your first question. When it comes to the coverage of the market, yes. So the 6 intelligence sets are actually the key to also protect crypto transactions. So it can be crypto, it can be P2P, it can be remittance, it can be any other transaction, due to the fact that we can actually analyze in real time all the factors that are related to knowing that this is the customer, this is the device that the transaction, for example, the customer is connecting from, this is the transaction performed by the real person based on the behavioral biometrics and other behavioral factors. And we're actually making sure that only the legitimate customer is performing the transaction, payment, or any other activity within the application, and nobody else. And that's exactly the value that we provide.
Thank you, Siv. Judges, apologies, we have run out of time for Q&A. We will move on to our very last pitch now. So the last pitch we have is William from iFinGate.
Okay, thank you. So hello everyone, I'm William. I'm the founder and CEO of iFinGate. So iFinGate is a RegTech company. We have the vision of becoming a leading Asian RegTech vendor who supports beyond the traditional financial sectors. So we have launched our service for about 3 years, and we have a little bit of achievements right now. So as of now, we are the only Hong Kong-based RegTech vendors that can launch our service successfully to the global banks and being adopted by them. And we are also the only Hong Kong RegTech company being featured by HKMA as a RegTech use case and post and share on this RegTech Knowledge Hub. And despite all the impact of the pandemic and also the economic downturns, we're still able to achieve more than 10 times business growth in the past 2 years. Apart from the business growth, we also managed to have a very low attrition rate. So our churn rate is less than 1%. And we have more than 1,000 clients, which cover more than 10 market segments, including banks, global banks, local banks. We also have government, state-owned enterprise, large corporates, asset management, marketing firms, etc. And despite our headquarters in Hong Kong, our clients coming from different parts of the world. So we have clients coming from GBA, Japan, Singapore, Korea, Australia, UK, etc. So the pain point we are trying to address is the increasing regulatory requirements. And in order to address the pain point, we can also see that there comes a lot of opportunities. So apart from the increasing and tightening ML regulations, we can also see the increasing demand from the ESG side. And as echo to what Eddie mentioned in the morning, the development of CBCD and digital asset and Web3 also create a lot of demand in ML and KYC sectors. So the market potential is huge. So our market size is more than 40 billion. So for us, actually, we aimed at capture 200 million US in the next coming 3 years. So our solution is user-friendly. It is a cloud-based solution. So our clients can use our service anytime, anywhere. So apart from traditional AML and KYC screen checking, we also help them to identify the ultimate beneficiaries of their clients. And in order to provide such a comprehensive solution, we are not trying to establish a very huge team employing more than 100,000 people. So instead, we only manage to have a very small team. We only have less than 30 staffs. However, we are able to cover more than 50,000 data sources and get the data feed on real-time basis. And once we get the data update, AI trained can screen the data and the content of this kind of unstructured database immediately, and then analyze and provide feedback to our FI clients. So a brief background of our team. On tech side, our CTO is Oliver. He has more than 25 years of experience after graduating from MIT. We also have Emin as our technical advisor. He's the professor in EEE of Hong Kong U. On business side, apart from myself, I was the former head of large and medium corporate of Citibank. And we also have Fiona. She was the director of NC and Stanchart. And we have Lolita. She was the head of global corporate in Stanchart. And we work closely with the ecosystem of RedTech. Apart from partnership with Cyberport or SciencePart, we also work closely with the industry associations like HKIB, ACCA, or HKSA, etc. We also receive extensive media coverage from global medias, local medias, Chinese medias, and also some government channel like HKTDC. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, William. Judges, let's kick off our final Q&A. Yes, we've got Raymond from AMTD.
Hello, Raymond.
Hi, William. Can you share with us your Asia-wide presence and how you manage that?
Okay, so right now, as I just mentioned, we only have the headquarters in Hong Kong. We have some production team in Vietnam and also in GBA, Macau, and China. However, we plan to have some local presence in other Asian countries, and we will manage them on hub basis. So let's say we will set up a team in Singapore to cover the Southeast Asian, and that is our plan to go out into the Asian market.
Thank you. Any further questions from our judging panel? All right. Thank you so much for your presentation, William.
Okay, thank you.
And that's a wrap, team. That is our 10 finalists for the Global Fast Track Pitching Competition. We will be announcing the winner tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the Hong Kong stage. So do stay tuned to find out who the winner is. We hope you enjoy the rest of Hong Kong FinTech Week, and we'll see you soon.